Anne, hello. How are you today?
I'm very well, Andrew, and yourself?
Yeah, I'm really good, thank you. It's great to see you, and love now to hear all about Redrose. So over to you to tell us all about it.
Thank you very much. And thank you, everybody, and good morning. My name is Anne Ruddy. I'm founder and CEO of Redrose Developments. We're all about commercializing seaweed. And today I want to talk to you about how we turn this humble aquatic vegetation into a multi-million-dollar business and do it sustainably. Now, the seaweed sector continues to grow year on year in many different aspects. The targeted forecast is by 2025, the business will be worth $92 billion. Sorry, I've lost my thread. Breathe. Right, the industry is huge, but sustainability is absolutely the key. The World Bank acknowledges that if we can cultivate, that's to say farm seaweed, 20-fold increase on where we currently are, we will reduce carbon emissions by 135 million tons. However, at this present time, 90% of Irish seaweed sales are taken from wild stock. That's to say we take out from the ocean and we don't put in. And the reason for this is that cultivation costs are so very high with infrastructure. It makes the price of this material as cultivated stock compared to wild harvest almost 10 times as high in Ireland. But as demands increase in different sectors, we know that that's going to be an unsustainable model. On the other side is that we have harvesters who collect the seaweed from wild harvest. They're an aging demographic. They have the preservation skills, but these are being lost due to the demand. There's a massive physical effort on them, and they're sometimes collecting 10, 20, 30 tons a day. What we're recommending, and they get very little return. I should get into my stride now, the Redrose proposition. Using expertise that we have, proprietary knowledge, we will work with our harvesters, and we will take very low quantities, 1 or 2 tons per day, and we will separate the liquid from the solid and therefore create a higher value product. And by taking it close to source, we will retain many of the minerals and proteins, literally processing within hours. Getting back to the actual global market, and just to give an indication graphically of how the sector is growing in different areas, you can see a clear year-on-year growth. And the interesting sector is that the biggest demand comes from liquid seaweed. The Redrose goals are ambitious. We intend to produce millions of litres. We intend to produce tons of pulp, that's the dried polymer. And the way we're going to achieve this is through franchise. We will work with our harvesters. They will have owner-operated units, and as I've mentioned, only process 1 to 2 tons per day, allowing the raw material to regenerate comfortably and therefore sustainably. When we look at the global picture, as you'd expect to see, Asia, they've been working with seaweed for thousands of years for food and medicinal. The US catching up, they've been in business now for about 200 years in their sector, and Europe following. Most companies tend to focus on food and feed and fertilizer. Companies such as BioAtlantis, but particularly DuPont, look to wider applications in industrial use. Some of these companies will cultivate, but many still rely on wild stock from all over the world. That is both economically and environmentally unsustainable going forward. Now, the Redrose route to market is that we've got 2 products that we've created. The liquid seaweed, we're going to work with our early stage partner, Bright Agro Innovations, who will take the liquid seaweed in the early stages and create a fertilizer product. We also have the support of the Caring Group, and they're looking at eyewear, belt buckles, and buttons. The Caring Group are owners of luxury brands such as Yves Saint Laurent, Gucci, and Alexander McQueen, and this very much is in line with their ethos of sustainability. So how do we generate revenue? Well, with My Harvesters, we will be working with owner-operated units, and they will derive more from less stock. We will take their liquid stock and purchase it from them at an agreed and fixed and fair price. This will be a mineral-rich liquid that can go on for further processing and apply to many sectors, not just the fertilizer, but food, feed, pharmaceutical. Equally, the carbon, much like the liquid stock, we will quality validate. We will homogenize and meet industrial scale needs. The combined effect is that we will create a good, solid revenue generation. We will reduce coastal impact and we will create sustainable products. Redrose has a clear strategy. We know where we're going and we know where we want to be. To date, we have already acquired seaweed aquaculture licenses. We're physically growing plant in the ocean right now. We will create, using proprietary knowledge, the liquid and separated solid and liquid. We have clear direction. We know where we're going. Our goals are time limited, specific, and achievable. Investment to date has been $270,000. This has enabled us to secure licenses, cultivation, technologies, and good solid working relationships. The investment call is 2.7 million. But for this, we will create a first pilot system to demonstrate the quality and the output. It would also create 2 further units that will evidence the scale, the quality, and the validity of the project, and we will have a fully sustainable model. Return on investment is very modestly placed at 4-fold, which we do anticipate to increase, and the exit strategy is within 5 years. The types of investor could be angel investors with specific skills. It could be pension funds, it could be industry, people looking for their SDGs, maybe even gender diversity. The driving team includes Sven. He's our franchise expert, previously worked with McDonald's and Burger King, and he's very focused on marketing and brand. Vincent is our fertilizer expert. He's an international consultant, is currently in the Netherlands, his homeland, where he is working on addressing dangerous levels of nitrate in soil. Myself, Anne Ruddy, serial innovator and serial entrepreneur, driven and worked in very many sectors. I want the takeaway to be that seaweed is the future. This model is income generating, it is fully scalable, it doesn't have to be just Ireland, and it is fully sustainable. Right, sorry about the early fluff, but I'm very much keen and ready to take your questions. Thank you.
And thank you very much indeed. It's fantastic to see the oceans being featured in our presentations today. Key area for me, and of course, huge support coming out of the EU and great public support. But all of that support is crucially dependent upon the oceans being used sustainably and recognising their role in helping to tackle climate change. Some excellent questions coming in. What I'd like to do now is pass over to you, John, to put 1 or 2 of those to Anne. Over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Andrew. Yeah, as you say, it's a first for Greenbackers in this sector. Interesting question from Julian Wheeler. He asked if you can use sargassum, obviously quite prevalent in Mexico, where they don't like it on their beaches.
Sargassum is a problem. It's an invasive species. Interestingly, I was speaking with somebody from the Irish Seaweed Consultancy, who actually, she dries it and she puts it in salad. It's got a very unique taste. She likes it. As far as composition is concerned, there are other seaweeds that you would choose over and above sargassum, because the composition, there are something in the region of over 10,000 species worldwide. From our shores here, I sit right by the ocean, we have 138 different species that can be identified. Only 7 of those are fully commercially viable that we know of, but we will be investigating. And this particular liquid-solid separation. Doesn't have to be species specific. But obviously, if you're working with better raw material, you end up with a better product. So the answer to the question is yes, you can use sargassum. Sorry, you can use that seaweed, but it's very specific.
Okay. Do you anticipate all your franchises will be in Ireland?
No, definitely not. We will start in Ireland because this is where I have built relationships, and the first two will be within very close region, but distanced enough so that there would be a bespoke and clear demarcation of area. The last thing we would like to do is to strip the ocean any more than it is already being stripped.
Mm. And finally, I mean, a lot of people are claiming, I guess, sustainability, harvest and sustainability. Why would you say that you can do that positively?
Because of the range of species and the size of the units will be restricted. We are only making it large enough that we can process 1, maybe 2 tons per day, and the 2 tons would come in as and when the cultivated stock becomes ready. Cultivation is the way forward without doubt, but if we can combine the wild stock that is currently being used with cultivated stock, which is seasonal as well, so we restrict the size of the unit to make sure that we have full sustainability, and we only take out as much that is as can be regenerated.
Great, thank you very much, Anne. A growing sector and well differentiated. Back to you, Andrew.